Okay. We are going to go from the top. I know a lot of people are joining in, so if you are already here, I'm so sorry. We get a redo. And don't judge me because my energy may not be the same. Actually, I'm warmed up. I'm warm. I'm warm. Okay. Welcome, guys, to Strengthen Your Podcast Brand with Podbean's Tools and Tactics. My name is Shay. I will be your host for tonight. And yeah, I'll be bringing the energy. You know, we're learning, but it's also fun. I want to make it fun. All right. So, table of contents. We are going to talk about common branding mistakes, defining your podcast identity, visual and audio branding, and what the difference between those two are, what it looks like. Podbean tools that help your brand. If you don't know, Podbean has a ton of tools, AI capabilities, a whole website builder in there. You probably didn't know, but I'm going to show you today. You're going to create a brand kit. A lot of people do not know what a brand kit is. Obviously, if you're in the marketing media, you know what it is. And if you're very, very serious about marketing and branding, you probably know what a brand kit is. Branding tactics, metrics that strengthen your brand, and quick wins, how you can start today to optimize your branding or start it. So what is a podcast brand? Your brand is how listeners recognize you, how they feel about you, and what they expect from your show. I talked about this earlier, and if you're a true crime lover, you know, what you expect from the show is you expect true crime. You expect the hard-hitting facts. You expect real-time accounts. You expect details that maybe a 5-minute news segment can't tell you. Define your podcast identity. So we want to define, just like how we defined ourselves as people in this world, how is your podcast in this world? Because sometimes it could be different from you. So you want to ask yourself, what transformation or value do I promise? You know, if you're at Podbean Amplified, that's our personal podcast. I'm going to shout it out right now, but I'm going to use these as examples. So what transformation or value do I promise? So the first season, first episode, we actually talked to Dr. Eleanor Soywinkles. And I love talking to her because her podcast is the postdoc transformation. So it literally is a transformation from being in college and getting a degree from your doctorates and then transitioning into your career, because obviously going through all that time of schooling is a hard transition if you're just going from all that school into the career field. So she has many different ways, and she also teaches you what she does. And so that's a great example of what to get out of it. All right. What does my podcast stand for? Who am I speaking to? How personal versus professional do I want to be? So, you know, true crime, very professional, very straightforward. If you are doing movie reviews, you're giving your honest opinion, you're being candid, you're being funny. The Scaredy Cast, gonna shout them out. Woo woo. They do scary movie reviews, and they're honest and they're brutal and they're a funny group of people. So if you love horror films, Scaredy Cast is for you. Go check them out. All right. If my podcast were a person, how would they talk? You know, what kind of energy do I bring? What emotions do I want to evoke? If you are a meditation podcast, you don't want somebody that's going to be woo woo crazy, you know, rah rah, let's talk about the party last night. No, you want to be in a peaceful moment. You want to be with somebody who's probably a yoga instructor, or maybe somebody like a psychiatrist or psychologist walking you through a mindful guided meditation, or, you know, you get the gist. I don't want to keep going. All right. So, brand foundation is your mission, your tone, and your personality. Visual branding elements. In these visual branding elements, you're going to have cover arts, your colors, typography, your style. You have host photography. A lot of times, if you want to be recognized or remembered in your logo, a lot of times you'll see faces like the Diary of a CEO or Jay Shetty, call her daddy. A lot of her logos or her branding, her face is in there. Sometimes it's not, but yet you still know who she is. Audiograms and thumbnails, social media templates. You want to make sure that all of these are cohesive, because you don't really know when you recognize something. It just happens. So when we are repeating ourselves and doing things in repetition over and over and over, eventually the people who see it twice, 3 times, maybe 5, 7 times, they're going to recognize that it's you. And then we go to audio branding. So we have intro and outro music. We have the signature sound. So intro, outro music could be the same or it could be different, but they have to be consistently the same throughout every single episode. And what I mean by different is a different intro and a different outro. Signature sound, maybe something that happens. Maybe you have a funny way of bleeping out your curse words. So instead of saying the curse word, it's like quack. That is a signature sound. So if people are going to expect that. Consistent mixing and mastering style. So obviously your volume levels, the volume levels to your intro and outro, consistent. If you are more of a relaxing, like meditation type, you don't want the volume too loud. You want the background music to be yeah. I'm not gonna, no. Guest introduction structure. Consistency. When you're introducing a guest, it's easy to pinpoint when you're going to do it, and just keeping it the same, because think about it in social clips. So for social clips, if I always have a portion where I'm showing my guest, I could go right from here, point A to point B to point C in my editing style, and it just, when we talk about it more, you'll understand. But yeah, when you have consistency and you have templates and you have a style that you stick to, you'll get a hang of things, like riding a bike. All right. Obviously, being Podbean, we are going to talk about the ways that we help you as a podcaster, which is pretty much every single way that we can think of, and we're trying harder every single day. If you have suggestions, please send them our way in the DMs. If you have questions, support@podbean.com. We are always here to help you. And special shout out to Podbean Academy, where we teach you how to use your podcast, what type of podcast do you need, how to set up, how to use your website, how to create an ad. And then we have a blog that talks about everything you need to know. A lot of things, a lot of information, but not only that, we have a customizable podcast site. My favorite element of Podbean is having your own website, and we're going to talk about it a little bit more in the future slides. But how many? None. You have a freaking I don't know why I thought that if I said it nicer, it would have come out nicer, but you have a whole website. How many of you right now, put in the comments, know that you have a website and have used the website and have successfully put your branding onto that website? Probably not all 3, which is why you're here. So I'm glad you are. All right. Then we're going into pro graphics for episodes. We're going into video podcasting and video posts. We have auto share to your socials. Go into the Podbean interface and look into that, because super cool. Podcast ads marketplace and engagement analytics. A lot of people don't understand that analytics could help you optimize your podcast more than trial and error just off thought, if that makes sense. So the data behind your changes tells you everything. If you are posting at 1 p.m. on a Monday and you think maybe if I post on a different day, it'll be better. So you go and you change it to Friday evening at 6 p.m. sounds better because everybody's either on their way home, they're home, heading into their weekend. But how do you know if it actually works, or how well do you know until you see your analytics? You may see it in the numbers, but to make gradual changes and to see it in data form, we give you so much. How do I say it? We give you guys different forms of data. We give user retention per episode, your top episodes. So you want to check those as well. I'm getting ahead of myself. But yes, I'm just a marketing nerd. Hey, Shay, marketing for Podbean. Nerding out. We're going to go to the next slide. Did I finish that last slide though, actually? Okay, cool. Thank you. He's got me. All right. Custom podcast site. Obviously, I was talking about that. So you want to add your logo and brand colors. You want to customize your layout and fonts. You want to build your own media kit. And you want to improve discoverability with SEO-friendly pages. So those are the things that your custom podcast site offers you and what you can do. And even in the website themes, there are, I know there's 6. There's 6 customizable themes, and then you can even put in your own. That takes a little bit more time. I would say the customizable themes are a lot easier because it sets up a kind of stencil website for you. But I like to be a little more playful. I like to, perfect my craft, or obviously if you love podcasting, you want to optimize every single part of it. And that goes into details, that goes into your website. And your website, go check out your website, because that is the greatest thing, in my opinion, since sliced bread. All right, Podbean episode branding tools. You can use Podbean to upload custom episode artworks. You can create branded video sound bites, and you can add transcripts to strengthen SEO and identity. With your social auto shares, you can share instantly to Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X. You just want to go into your interface, into your distribution and your social sharing, and you want to set that up. All right. Now, this is what it looks like for brand experience and community. A brand is how listeners interact with you. What you're looking at right now is a screenshot of the live interface on the Podbean app. That is what it looks like when you go live. You can have guests in the top right-hand corner. You can add them in there. It gives you an invite key. You can make it private, which means that you can pre-record things with just you and your guest, or multiple guests. There's so many. You can take live calls. You can see listener comments. So definitely check out the live aspect. I know being live is something that's a little more human because you can see it in real time. A lot of people, edit things, put them together. But when you're doing something live, there's a little bit more of a pressure to, you can't really fake when you're live, it's incredibly hard. Excuse me. That was perfect timing. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're going to talk about creating a brand kit. Your kit should include fonts, logo variations, cover art, and episode templates, colors and hex codes, a host bio, and tagline. And what I mean by this is if you go online and you search up brand kits, you'll get a little template kind of like you see on the screen here. But basically, you want to keep only a handful of fonts. You don't want to go willy-nilly. Oh, I feel Comic Sans today. Oh, I feel Open Sans today. Oh, I feel Proxima Nova today. No, we're not going to do all that. And yes, I'm a font nerd, please. But you want to keep it consistent. Like I said, visually, people are going to remember you if you are an Open Sans girly all the way, or you're a Montserrat all the way. Boom. Keep it consistent. Okay. So here are a couple of tactics to help you with your branding. You want to develop signature segments. Signature segments make your brand recognizable. In Podbean Amplified, I'm going to just pull back to Podbean Amplified. We have customer success, a segment. Well, it's Podbean Success. It's a segment where we take questions from our customer success team and or questions that we get from our users, and we answer them, because I promise you, if you have one question, somebody else has that same question. So we take that and we answer it, and not only does it give that one person their answer, but it may give 10, 20, 100, 2,000 people their answers. You want to have maybe weekly tips, listener shoutouts, mini games, rapid fire questions, but those segments, those fun segments, make your podcast memorable. If you have a story time, that is it. If you have a guest, that is it. Consistency is memorability. I want to etch that into your brain. You see it, you see it, you see it, you remember, you remember, you remember. Just like school, just like taking notes, repetition is key. All right, storytelling for branding. We're going to connect through personal stories. You want to talk about, why your show exists, your why. Maybe listener impact moments. A brand feels more human when the host feels human. Obviously, we're talking about this as a more personal podcast. If you are an educational podcast, obviously somebody who seems more human as opposed to a robot, you're going to listen to, which is why I'm trying my very hardest to entertain you guys while I do this. Am I doing a good job? Tell me yes, because I just need to know you're still paying attention and not just keeping me on in the background to make me feel good. Because there's a lot of people watching. And, All right. We are going to keep it pushing here. Another tactic. So cross-promotion and collaboration. You want to grow your brand by connecting with podcasts in your niche. I'm going to keep talking about Podbean Amplified because I want you to watch it. I want you to know about it. And that's my baby, besides the live webinars. And I love her. I love Podbean Amplified. So podcasts in my niche. What I mean by that is when we think of guests, they're always going to be podcasters or people in the field that can offer you perspective to podcasters like yourself. So recently we had, oh gosh, I'm just blanking on an example. The Chill Mom, Michelle. Okay. She talked about how she created a five stream income source while being a stay-at-home mom. She also podcasts, and she also encourages moms alike to do what she does. She is a girl's girl. She's a mama's mama. But she is also a podcaster. And so in that, we ask her, what are some tips that you have for podcasters? What advice could you give somebody trying to do the same thing as you? And that's just an example. Guests with aligned audiences, other podcasters. We talked to JLab Audio, a microphone, headphone, earbud company. And they're all around. They got speakers now too. Shout them out. We did a little partnership with them. But aligned audiences, they have microphones, and we were talking about cost efficient microphones in one of our past webinars. So we kind of talked about, high-end microphones like Shure, the one I'm using right now, and then JLab, more affordable. And then we're going down to like just the typical iPhone earbud. Again, I digress. But Podbean Ads Marketplace, if you didn't know, you can promote your podcast by being on other podcasts. And I put that in there is because I'm a golfer. I love golfing. If I have a golf podcast, I probably won't promote my podcast on a religious podcast. I probably won't promote my podcast on a dancing podcast, because It's a whole different field. It's a whole different niche. Yes, I'm an individual. Yes, I'm unique. And yes, I believe in my capabilities as a podcaster to bring in listeners. But imagine if I put my ad to promote my podcast on Tony Finau's. He's a golfer, a professional golfer. Or Tiger Woods. A lot of people know Tiger Woods. He's a professional golfer as well. That if I chose to promote my podcast on those instead of podcasts that are out of my niche, I will increase my chances in getting more listeners, more engagement, and more people to be a part of my community. More like-minded people too. All right. And social media creators, obviously. The people who are online, they're going to be posting, promoting, and they're on it. They're on it. But also down here, you can see, also another clip from Podbean, but monetization and the ways that you can gain revenue off of consistency and branding. All right. Metrics that strengthen your brand. You have listener retention. We have that data. We have episode performance per episode. We have, how long they watched the episode for, average watch time, when they dropped off, what part did they most watch. Just super, super finite, detailed analytics. Top performing content, engagement insights, and which topics your audience loves. So it'll show you, if you have 100 podcasts over the past 3 years, it'll show you the top performing podcasts within the last 10 months or 3 years. Or you can even dial it down to a few weeks, 2 years ago. So very, very detailed. We are going to go over a branding checklist that'll help you. Checklist. Clear message and niche. You want to make sure that you know what they are. A lot of people do know what they are, but just making sure. Recognizable audio identity. Podbean tools activated. Make sure you get those things done. Podbean. We do a really, really good job, and I want to toot their horn because I'm marketing. I just tell you what we have, but the creators behind them, they truly care about the users. They take your comments and your feedback into consideration when putting new software updates out there, when coming out with new types of things like AI. And so you'll see some stuff soon. Consistent visuals. If you if your font is bold and then your color is green, and then, your next episode, your font is very tiny and maybe the color is purple, nobody in their right mind is going to think that those two are alike, right? If I can just put it in like a really simple term, that's kind of how I think about it. Yeah. Engaging community tone, posting schedule, consistency. If you post Monday this week, and in 3 weeks you post on a Wednesday, and then in 8 weeks after that you post on a Monday, it's going to be very hard for you to gain a community that is consistent. I'm not saying that you're not good enough to have people listening. I'm saying that if you are posting consistently and you are promoting it with your branding, now people are going to be tuning in and waiting for your episode to drop instead of scrolling on social media and going, oh, they did have an episode. That's right. They're going to be knowing. They're going to be waking up on that Friday, like, oh my gosh, Podbean's going to drop their podcast today at 6 p.m. On my drive home. I'm going to listen to it. You could be a commuter's dream. A lot of people are commuting and listening to podcasts nowadays. All right. And a social media distribution plan. A lot of people don't realize, but being inconsistent on social media messes with the algorithm of your page. You want to make sure that you are posting consistently, and you want to make sure that it's quality. It's consistent quality that people will expect. And if you won't like it, I'm sorry, somebody else probably won't, so own it, love it. And I want to show you some successful branding examples. Obviously, you got Podbean amplified in the middle. Woo! Okay. And then we have Call Her Daddy. Obviously, something well known, a podcast that has blown up and taken the world by storm when it did. And now she's on to huge things. Joe Rogan, somebody who was known but made himself known in a different way again. Diary of a CEO, someone who, is known for having real and raw sit downs, being honest. We have Crime Junkie, a crime reporter. We have The Daily. What they all have in common: they have strong cover art that's easily recognizable. They have consistent layouts, and they have great audience engagement as well as branded templates. And what I mean by great audience engagement is because they're consistent, because they post on time, because they post regularly. Do people expect them to continue posting? And that brings audience engagement. Quick wins, things you can do starting today. Start today. Design or redesign your cover art. Create a brand kit now that you know. Think of your 2 or 3 fonts that you're going to use always. I would say 2. Think of your colors. You can have, a set of colors, maybe, I would say 3 or 4, 3 or 4. Some people have like 6 or 7, but it's completely up to you, I would say 3 or 4. You're really pushing the limits. Unless they're like different shades of a certain color, you know what I mean. Okay, I'm not gonna keep going. You're gonna plan the next 10 episode titles, or 5. Don't push yourself too hard. You can use AI to help you as well. But what I mean by that is when you look at your episode titles, you're kind of creating a consistency for yourself. You're creating structure and a layout of all of your episodes, and you want to make sure that the voice, the way that your titles sound, are the same. A lot of people don't think about that. You want to enable auto share. Make sure you go to Podbean, my user friends, and enable your auto share, because it's completely easy and it's completely auto. Once you do it, it's auto. Like it does it for you. And then you want to add your intros and outros. I love a good intro and I love a good outro. And it's memorable. It's memorable. Alrighty. I did it. Kind of. Okay. We are on the Q&A part. Do you have any questions? What challenges do you have with branding? Let's talk about it. Brainstorm. There we go. I'm having a brain fart. What would you like to know more about branding? What tools are you using now? If you feel like you have something that works for you, share it with the chat. Wow. Okay. Will slides be provided afterwards? Yes. I will make sure that they are accessible to you. Also, we will be keeping the live up and in replay fashion. It's going to be up forever. What I did now will be up there, unedited, forever. Until my CEO decides to replace me with somebody else. I'm kidding. I'm so kidding. I'm here. I'm here for the long haul, baby. Forever. Analytics is something I have plenty of trouble with. A lot of people have trouble reading analytics and understanding it. Um, Truthfully, it's a whole different concept. It's numbers versus creativity. So putting those two together is a beautiful, beautiful creation. However, it is complicated. I would say go into Podbean Amplified. It's also on our YouTube, I believe. Tutorials on how to navigate our analytics. I personally help you with a few of them. So go check me out and we can work on it together. Oh my God. It's got to be easier than WordPress to build a website. Absolutely 120,000%. As somebody who's used Google, GoDaddy, Wix, what else is there? I haven't used Nope, I have used Squarespace for a past job. But yes, the Podbean, as long as you have an account, you get a website. Is Facebook still relevant? 100%. Facebook is relevant. Not only can you create a channel in Facebook with all of the people, it's like a text channel. So you can text and everybody will receive that message and they can be a part of a community that you create in Facebook. You can also create yourself a Facebook page to promote your podcast as well as your clips. It's just an extra space for you to put your thumbprint out there. I would say if you're using only 2 social medias right now, and let's say you have 10,000 people that follow you across them both, what's the harm in adding 1 more or 2 more or 3 more and just repurposing your posts and using the same things? Because who knows, you may find a community on Lemonade. You may find a community on X or TikTok, and you just never know when it'll happen for you. And honestly, do not block a blessing. Do not block yourself an avenue in which to find listeners, because I promise you, consistency, repetition, and literally throwing it in people's faces consistently will get it out there. I promise. I'm so learning to speak to the camera. Oh, still learning. Any good tips for wandering eyes? Ooh, that is a really good one. I think when I go to speak to the camera or I answer any questions, I think of talking to my friend. I think of explaining it to my grandma or my boyfriend, and that's how I get comfortable with myself. I think a lot of people are so worried about how they come across, and you just got to do it. You have to believe in yourself and the fact that what you say holds value, and you'll find your tribe. You'll find your community, and I hope that you practice and practice and work on it. There is something that does help you, something that I have worked on as well. I did not come up with this. I've learned it from somebody else. I don't know exactly who started it, but it's the 5-5-5 rule. What you're going to do is you're going to take a camera and you're going to put it in front of you and you're going to record yourself for 5 minutes talking about anything you want. You can pre-pick a topic, you can free flow, but you're going to record yourself talking. And the first time you listen to it, you are going to put the phone down and you are just going to audio it. And you can listen to the ways that you need to work on your speech. The second time you listen, you're going to mute it. So you're just going to watch the visual and you're going to take notes of the ways that maybe your eye contact should be here. Or I use a lot of hands and gestures a lot. I've had to minimize it, still working on it. but it'll show you without the audio visually what you look like. And then the third time, you are going to watch it in both. And in those times, you can see the different ways that you communicate, whether it be with your eyes, with a gesture. You can see when sometimes you feel uncertain, or maybe you don't know what you're going to say next. I do that a lot where my eyes wander and I'm trying to pick up my thought to put it back in my brain. But those are some of the ways that I've noticed that I need to improve on. Sometimes I talk very slow as well, so I need to pick that up because I think I'm talking fast in my head, but I'm actually speaking really slow out loud. Facebook groups are popping. Yes, I love my Facebook groups. It's like a whole community. It's like Reddit out loud. Well, because Reddit has the usernames and you're completely anonymous. But when you're on Facebook, ooh, Kathy526 gets wild on the podcasts, Some people never will be on one community, but will be on others. Great to cross post. X is hopping too. Great. Heck yeah. Great idea. My eyes be all over the room. Thank you. Of course. No, of course. Oh, Vin Young. Oh, it is. Okay, so I'm missing one element of the 5. Maybe that's why I'm still messing up. Oh gosh. Did I learn it from a knockoff teacher? Oh gosh. Am I a knockoff teacher? No, I'm kidding. Anywho. How do you repurpose? That's a great question. I like to, if a lot of you are familiar with Canva, when I make my graphics or my videos, there's an automatic resize button, a little trick. So definitely check that out. Well, thanks so much. Alrighty, guys, this has been your December live webinar. I want to say thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in. I've had so much fun this year. It's been great, truthfully. I can't wait to go into 2026 and share blah, blah, blah. I can't wait. I was doing so good. Okay. I can't wait to go into 2026 and have 12 more months of live webinars with you guys. Please send your requests or your questions or my next webinar idea to support@podbean.com or DM us. I pretty much see every social media. Try my best at least. But yeah, ask us your questions or give me an idea for the next webinar or tell me what's been working for you or what you've been struggling with. Hopefully, us at Podbean can help you out. And if not, we'll see you on Podbean Academy, our blog, our YouTube, because that's where we have all of our informational videos and tutorials, or Instagram, because that place is fun. But until next time, this has been Shay from Podbean, and we wish you a happy podcasting night.